Sagacious Mind, you are working on the Sagacious English Grammar, the ultimate destination for the master of English language skill. Okay, what is exactly the objective for today? Before taking mention of today's objective, I would love to give a brief introduction. It is important you take note that the study of linguists actually came into existence for pedagogical purpose in the 19th century. And during this period and before this period as well, a lot of researches has actually been made, some model be propounded, some principles be made up, and the rest. So one of those models, one of those principles or researches that was discovered about the study of language is the definition of language, the features of language, the grammatical models about languages, and the rest. So into this video, I am going to be sharing with you one of the foremost linguists that brought about the future of human language, not just the future of human language, but the future of human language that's totally differentiated from animal language. And this is 16 in number. Who am I actually talking about? Is a great linguist, no other person but the person of Charles Orchid. He propounded the 16 principles that differentiate human language from the animal language in 1960s. So I will represent this in acronym. You know, it's 16 and it's very long. So the acronym is SPAT, Build V. SPAT, Build V. Okay, so the S for the SPAT is raised to power 2. The P as well is raised to power 2. The A is just raised to power 1. Okay, the R is raised to power 2. And the T also is raised to power 2. So in this video, I'll be discussing the 9 features of language. In the other video, you can just watch out for the remaining one. You get it right? Now let's get started. The first, which is S, is specialization. He is of the belief that human speech mechanism is actually it has been designed in such a way that it can perform the function of production of sounds for communication, unlike animal language. Animal language, their speech organ is actually limited towards pronouncing a particular sound. Sounds like if it were to be a dog, if it were to be hen, you have sound like and the rest. But when it comes to human has this human speech mechanism that is highly designed to produce different kind of sounds. And this is actually what makes it possible for human to be capable of learning many languages and the other, because the human speech mechanism is not restricted to the production of one sound or the other. So one of the features that differentiate human speech mechanism, human language from animal language, is the specialization in human organ. So moving from that to the second S, and that is the semanticity, or you have it to the semantics. This simply implies that every object will actually master a meaning. Okay, so the word semanticity simply means meaning. That is, every object that's signified is actually master a meaning that's signified. So this is actually a key term in Ferdinand de Saussure's definition of language. You get that. For instance, for something to be referred to as, okay, you have this to be referred to as cloth. So there is a meaning that is actually allotted to it to be referred to as cloth. You get that. So you get into learn other people's language and they call it something different. The next thing you ask them is a description of what they've said. So with that understanding, with the understanding of the description, and okay, they're referring to cloth in the language. So the point of that semantics theory is that every object responds to a meaning. Now let's move from that to the second one, to the next, the next letter, and that is letter P. The first P stands for prevarication. Prevarication is another word for falsification, lies, untruth. In a nutshell, prevarication has to do with the fact that human can actually use their language to tell lies, unlike animals. You are in San Francisco, you said, oh, I'm in London. Oh my goodness, just to suit your personal desire. So this feature is quite distinctive from animal language. So the next one is productivity. Productivity has to do with the fact that human language sentence structures, sentences can actually be constructed in an unlimited way. It can be constructed in such a way that that sentence formation has never been heard before. It is open-ended. It is not limited to one formation structure or the other. Alright, one from that to the next one, and that is the letter A. The letter A stands for arbitrariness. Arbitrariness is actually a key term in fitting out the socialist definition as well. It has to do with the fact that there is no logical or divine mandated principle that necessitates the connection between our object and what the object is being referred as. Next characteristic is rapid fading. Human language has a tendency to fade or to wipe away as soon as it has been said. That's why when something is being said, I'm not talking about using the technological device to record it now. The standard human language, which is the vocal communication, the moment at which it has been said, it disappears. You can't hear it after 15 hours or after 5 minutes or after 2 minutes. For instance, when I shout, if I shout, ah, can you still hear the ha? Okay, that's it. So rapid fading, that explains that. Now the next characteristic, which is the letter R, is the reflexiveness. Okay? So the reflexiveness as a feature of language has to do with the fact that a language can be used to describe itself. For instance, I'm explaining some concept in English, and I'm actually using English to explain or to describe the concept. So that is exactly what reflexiveness is. It's just more or less like a mirror. When you station yourself before a mirror, you get to see yourself, right? So you reflect in the mirror. So that is exactly the future of reflexiveness. That is what it's all about. Now, we're from the reflexiveness letter T. Don't forget letter T is also raised to power 2. We have two different features there. The first feature is the traditional transmission. This is actually our future of language. The idea is that human gets to understand language based on the society, particular language based on the society he or she finds himself. That is, a language can actually be properly transmitted if one dwells within a particular society. So that means that despite the the acquisition device that we have within us, that for us to acquire language, it has to be by traditional transmission, by cultural transmission. There are some linguists that stand the ground against this, that you don't actually necessarily have to find yourself in a culture or maybe learn a language before you can speak a particular language, that there is a particular device within us. So there are a lot of researches on that, a lot of theories, researches, experiment, and there is, for instance, the Samis experiment, who happens to be an Egyptian. It also falls under that. But the point is that traditional transmission has to do with the future of language based on the acquisition of human language within the society that we actually find ourselves. Okay, so the next characteristic, that is the total feedback, and that will be the last characteristic in this video. You can actually watch out for the rest of the characteristic in the next video. Okay, so the total feedback has to do with the fact that human can receive feedback, human can receive response, which might be by utterance, or you have it to be expression, or by action. Do you get it? Okay, when you say good morning, the person responds good morning. That is feedback compared to animal language. When those animals receive feedback, like when a dog barks, right? That is not communication, that is just sound. So those are the characteristics in today's video that was propounded by Charles Orchid about the distinction between, about how distinctive human language is from animal language. Okay, kindly share your thoughts in the comment box. You're highly welcome to Segitious English Grammar. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, turn on the notification button, and do well to like the video. Goodbye. Segitious Cares.